The battlefield was quiet now, too quiet for a place where a war had been raging only moments ago. Smoke rose slowly from the broken machines and burning metal. The ground was full of strange alien symbols, glowing weakly like dying lights. The red sky above looked heavy, almost ready to fall. Ethan Walker, a human soldier, lay on the ground behind a half-destroyed metal wall. His left arm hurt, and there was blood on his sleeve, but he was still alive. He breathed slowly, trying not to make any sound. His rifle was close to his chest, ready. He knew that even one mistake could be his last. Ethan listened. At first, he heard nothing but the crackling of fire. Then, he heard it. A sound. Heavy steps. Metal against stone. Slow. Powerful. Not human. He felt a chill run down his back. He had heard those footsteps before, during other battles. They belonged to something dangerous, something that humans feared. Ethan peeked over the broken metal wall. A dark figure was moving through the smoke, coming closer. The air around it seemed to shake with each step. Ethan gripped his rifle tighter. His heart beat faster, loud like a drum in his ears. Then the figure stepped out of the smoke. It was an alien warrior. Tall, armored, deadly. Her armor was deep crimson red, full of scars from past battles. Glowing lines ran across her arms and chest. Her helmet had sharp edges, and her eyes, bright, burning yellow, looked wild and focused. Every human soldier knew her name. The Crimson Hunter. A legend of war. A nightmare for humans. Ethan's breath froze. He had seen her once from far away, leading an attack. She was fast, strong, unstoppable. And now she was walking straight toward him. He raised his gun, knowing he had only one chance. If he missed, he would die. But before he could shoot, something strange happened. The warrior stopped. Her body trembled. She tried to lift her weapon, but it fell from her hand and hit the ground with a heavy metallic sound. Ethan frowned. That was unusual. The Crimson Hunter never dropped her weapon. Then he saw blood. Dark purple alien blood dripping from her side. Her armor was cracked, glowing sparks coming out of it. She was injured badly. Maybe dying. Slowly, painfully, she bent her knees. Ethan's eyes widened. The Crimson Hunter, one of the strongest alien warriors, was kneeling. She lifted her head and looked straight at him, those glowing yellow eyes now dim and desperate. Then, with a shaking voice, she spoke. Human. She paused, catching her breath. Don't kill me. Ethan did not move. He didn't understand what he was seeing. Why would a powerful alien warrior kneel before a single human soldier? She lowered her head even more. I'll be yours, she said softly. The words hung in the air like a strange echo. Ethan wasn't sure if he heard her correctly. Yours? What did that mean? He kept his rifle aimed at her, but his hands were shaking, not from fear, but confusion. This has to be a trap, he whispered to himself. But the alien warrior stayed down. She didn't move, didn't reach for her weapon, didn't attack. She looked like someone who had lost everything. A moment passed. Then another. The battlefield wind carried dust and smoke between them. Ethan slowly stepped out from behind the metal wall, keeping the rifle aimed at her chest. Why? He asked firmly. Why are you surrendering to me? She lifted her head. For a moment, he saw emotions in her eyes, pain, fear, pride breaking apart. Because, she said, voice low, I have no one left. Her armor sparked again, and she winced. Ethan could see the damage clearly now. She must have fought many enemies before reaching this place. Maybe her own people had turned against her. Maybe she was running from something. He didn't know. But his instincts told him this was not a trick. You expect me to believe you, he said. Her eyes softened. She spoke again, slower this time, like each word cost her strength. You are the only one here. I cannot fight anymore. I choose to live.
Even if it means kneeling before a human. Ethan's heart pounded. This moment felt unreal.
He had fought aliens for months, seen terrible things. But he had never seen one kneel, not like this. His mind raced. Should he kill her? Should he trust her? Should he walk away? He took one step closer. She didn't move. Another step. Still nothing. Now, he was standing just a few feet away. "Look at me," he said. She raised her head slowly. Ethan saw something he never expected: fear. Real fear. The Crimson Hunter, feared by thousands, was scared. "Human," she whispered again, "I don't want to die." Her voice was softer now, almost broken. The battlefield around them felt frozen in time. It was just Ethan and the alien warrior, locked in a moment that made no sense yet felt important. Ethan lowered his rifle just a little, not fully, but enough to show he was thinking. "Tell me your name," he demanded. She hesitated, then answered. "Karina." The name sounded sharp yet beautiful, like a blade made from light. Ethan repeated it quietly. "Karina." She nodded weakly. "Yes." Another silence fell between them. Ethan looked around, no other enemies, no other humans. Just ruins and smoke. He looked back at her. A fallen alien warrior. A living mystery. A dangerous secret wrapped inside wounded armor. She looked up at him with those dim glowing eyes, waiting. Ethan finally lowered his rifle completely. "Fine," he said. "I won't kill you." Karina breathed out, relieved. But Ethan added quickly. "But you're going to tell me everything." The alien nodded slowly. "I will." And just like that, the war changed. The smoke drifted past them as Ethan stepped closer to help her stand. He didn't know what he had just started, but he knew one thing. This was only the beginning. The wind grew colder as Ethan helped Karina stand. Her legs shook under the weight of her broken armor. She tried to hide the pain, but Ethan could see it clearly. Even injured, she carried herself like someone trained for endless war. "Careful," he said. Karina didn't reply. She simply followed him, one slow step at a time, leaving a trail of dark purple blood behind her. Ethan led her toward a small shelter on the side of a ruined metal structure. It had once been a human outpost, now broken and mostly abandoned. The roof was half collapsed, but it still offered some cover from enemy drones that sometimes scanned the sky. Inside, the dim light flickered. The air smelled of burnt wires and dust. Karina leaned against the wall and let out a low growl of pain. Ethan placed his rifle near the entrance, within arm's reach. He looked at her closely. "You need medical help." "I will survive," she said. Her voice was steady, but her body wasn't. Ethan found an old medkit, half crushed but with enough supplies to patch wounds. He brought it close, but Karina straightened herself, eyes sharp again. "You are touching an enemy," she warned. Ethan raised an eyebrow. "You asked me not to kill you. Now let me keep you alive." She didn't argue. Maybe she didn't have the strength. Maybe she simply didn't want to die alone. Ethan knelt beside her and cut open a part of her armor. Sparks flew out, and Karina hissed in pain. "What happened to you?" he asked. She stared at the broken wall, almost as if looking at something far away. "I fought them." "Who?" "My own people." Ethan froze for a moment. "Your own people tried to kill you?" Karina finally looked at him. Her eyes glowed dimly, but they held a deep fire: anger, fear, and something else, something human. "They found out," she whispered. "Found out what?" She hesitated. Ethan could see she was choosing her words carefully. "There is something hidden," she said slowly. "Something my empire does not want humans to know. Something they fear." Ethan frowned. "What is it?" Karina shook her head. "Not now. First, let me heal." Ethan stayed quiet and worked on her wound. The strange purple blood was thick and warm, and it reacted with human bandages, causing them to glow. He tried not to show his surprise. While he wrapped her injury, Karina studied him. "You are calm," she said.
"I'm trying to stay alive," Ethan replied. "Most humans would have run." He smirked. "Most humans are smarter than me."
For the first time, Karina made a small sound, almost a laugh, but too soft and tired. When Ethan finished bandaging her, he sat across from her, keeping a safe distance. Outside, the sky rumbled as enemy ships moved across the clouds.
They didn't speak for a while.
The silence was thick, almost heavy.
Karina finally broke it.
"You asked why I kneeled," she said quietly.
Ethan nodded.
"Yes." Her eyes shifted to the floor. "I kneeled because I saw something in you," she said.
"Something my people do not have." "And what is that?"
"Hope."
Ethan blinked.
"Hope?"
Karina nodded slowly. "Humans fight for each other. For friends. For family. For reasons that are more than power. My people fight only to dominate. To control everything. Even life itself." Ethan leaned forward, studying her face. She didn't look like the fierce warrior from the battlefield. She looked lost. Broken. Alone.
"So your people tried to kill you because you didn't want to follow them anymore?" he asked.
Karina looked away again. "I discovered a secret. A plan. Something terrible. When I refused to be part of it, they marked me as a traitor."
Ethan felt a cold chill on his skin.
"What plan?"
Before she could answer, a sudden noise echoed outside.
A metallic roar.
Then a thumping sound.
Karina instantly straightened.
Her eyes widened. "They found us," she whispered. Ethan grabbed his rifle and moved toward the entrance. The ground trembled slightly, something big was walking nearby.
"Stay down," he said. Karina shook her head. "It is not my people. It is a creature." Ethan frowned.
"A creature?"
She nodded. "This world is full of them. My people woke them during the war."
Before Ethan could respond, a huge shadow moved past the entrance. He held his breath and peeked outside. A massive creature, like a mix of metal and bone, crawled across the ruined ground.
Its eyes were glowing blue, its legs sharp like blades. It sniffed the air like it was searching for prey. Ethan whispered, "Great. Just what I needed." Karina tried to stand, but she was too weak. Ethan turned to her.
"Stay here," he said. "No," she whispered. "You cannot face that alone." She reached for her weapon only to remember she had dropped it in the battlefield. Her hands clenched in frustration. The creature suddenly turned toward their shelter. It screeched, a horrible sharp sound that made Ethan flinch. It charged. Ethan opened fire, bullets hitting its body but only slowing it. The creature slammed into the shelter wall, shaking the whole structure.
Karina forced herself up and moved beside Ethan.
"You can barely stand," he shouted. "I do not need to stand to kill," she growled. With a sudden burst of strength, she pushed off the wall and leaped at the creature. Using her claws and broken armor plates, she stabbed its glowing eyes. The monster roared and tried to shake her off. Ethan fired again, aiming at the creature's joints. A final bullet hit a weak spot, and the creature collapsed, smashing into the ground.
Karina fell next to it, breathing heavily. Ethan ran to her.
"You're going to die if you keep doing that." She looked at him with tired but powerful eyes.
"You fought for me," she said.
"I fight for those who fight beside me."
Ethan helped her back into the shelter.
Her body trembled from exhaustion.
She took a deep breath. "Ethan," she whispered. "The plan I discovered, the one my people want to hide." She paused.
He leaned closer.
"What is it?"
Karina looked at him with fear in her eyes. "They want to destroy both our worlds." Ethan felt the blood leave his face.
Before he could reply, she continued. And they are coming, for me. Her voice shook. And for you.
Outside, distant alien ships descended from the clouds slowly, silently, hunting. Dark clouds thickened above the ruined battlefield, flashing with distant blue lightning from alien ships. The air felt heavy, almost electric, as Ethan stared at Karina. Her words still echoed in his mind. They want to destroy both our worlds. He couldn't fully understand it, but he could see fear in her eyes, real fear, something he never expected from a warrior like her. Ethan checked his rifle and looked outside the shelter. 3 bright lights cut through the clouds, moving in a slow circle like hungry predators. They're searching, he said quietly.
Karina nodded weakly. For me. And now for you. Ethan swallowed. He wasn't ready for another fight, not after everything. But leaving wasn't an option. Karina could barely stand, she wouldn't survive alone. He turned to her. Why would your people kill their own world? Their own kind?
Karina closed her eyes for a moment, as if gathering strength.
They think destruction will give them rebirth, she said. They want to remove anything that does not obey them. Human worlds, alien worlds, even their own colonies.
All must fall so they can start a pure empire.
Ethan's jaw tightened. That's insane.
That is power, she whispered.
To them. A deep rumble shook the ground. Dust fell from the broken ceiling.
Karina slowly pushed herself up. They have tracked my signal, she said. They know this exact place.
Ethan lifted his rifle. Then we fight.
Karina stared at him, surprised.
You would stay? You would fight for someone like me? Ethan didn't hesitate. You fought for me. Now it's my turn.
Her eyes softened, bright yellow becoming warm gold for just a moment.
Humans, she whispered. Always choosing the impossible.
Before Ethan could respond, a sudden blast exploded outside. The shelter's remaining wall cracked open and a wave of dust rushed in.
Ethan pulled Karina behind some debris.
Through the dust, he saw figures landing, 3 alien soldiers, taller than Karina, armor glowing with sharp white light. Their helmets were shaped like skulls. Their weapons hummed with energy. They were elite hunters.
Karina inhaled sharply. They are here to erase me.
The alien soldiers spread out, scanning the area.
Ethan tightened his grip on his rifle.
One of them spoke in a deep, sharp voice.
Traitor Karina. Step forward. Your life is finished. Ethan aimed, ready to shoot, but Karina grabbed his wrist. Not yet, she whispered. They want to draw me out. Let them think we are hiding. Another blast hit the ground outside, throwing rocks everywhere.
One alien stepped closer, scanning with a glowing device.
He was getting too close. Ethan raised his rifle. Karina shook her head. Wait. The alien soldier turned. His glowing scanner moved across the entrance. Ethan's heartbeat thundered.
For a moment, it seemed they would be discovered, but the soldier walked past.
Ethan exhaled.
Karina touched his arm lightly.
You see, she whispered. Patience saves. A metallic click sounded behind them. Ethan froze. Karina's eyes widened.
A 4th alien soldier had entered through the collapsed back wall silently.
Its weapon pointed straight at Ethan. You are surrounded, the alien said. Surrender your human and die with honor. Karina's body moved before her mind could.
She threw herself between Ethan and the alien, taking the shot right into her armor. Purple sparks burst out as she fell to her knees.
Karina! Ethan shouted. Without thinking, he fired multiple shots into the alien soldier's mask.
The soldier fell back, sparks flying. Outside, the other 3 hunters heard the gunfire. They rushed toward the shelter.
Ethan dragged Karina behind cover.
She was breathing hard, face tight with pain.
You stupid human, she whispered. I told you not to fight alone. And I told you, Ethan said, I'm not leaving you.
She gave a small, tired smile.
Then we die together. No, Ethan said. We live together. The hunters entered. Their weapons glowed bright, filling the space with deadly blue light.
Ethan whispered, on my signal, we attack.
Karina shook her head. I can barely move.
Ethan reached behind her armor plate and pulled out a broken glowing shard, a power core. He placed it in her hand. Can you use this? He asked.
Karina stared at it.
The shard pulsed with energy.
Yes, she whispered. I can. Ethan nodded. Then let's end this.
The first hunter stepped inside. Ethan jumped out from behind the debris and fired.
The blast hit the hunter's leg, making it stumble.
The other two raised their weapons, aiming at Ethan.
Karina roared, a deep, powerful alien roar.
She slammed the glowing shard into her armor. Her body lit up with bright red veins of energy. She moved faster, much faster. With one strike, she knocked a hunter across the room. Energy sparked as she ripped the weapon from his hands and used it to block another attack. Ethan fired again, aiming with precision. The battle was brutal, fast, chaotic. One hunter grabbed Ethan by the neck and lifted him off the ground.
Ethan struggled, choking. Karina saw it.
She launched herself forward, smashing into the hunter with her full strength. The impact cracked her own armor, but she didn't stop. She slammed her claws into the hunter's chest, tearing out its power core. The hunter fell in a burst of white sparks. Ethan collapsed to the floor, coughing.
Karina reached out to him.
Stay with me, she said softly. But the battle wasn't over.
A deep, commanding voice echoed outside. Karina. Ethan looked up.
A tall figure stepped into the broken shelter, the alien commander. His armor was black, smooth, and sharp, glowing with blue symbols. His presence felt cold, heavy, powerful.
Your betrayal ends today, he said.
Karina stood weakly, but her eyes burned with defiance.
I will not serve your empire.
The commander raised his weapon at her.
You belong to us. Karina stepped in front of Ethan. Not anymore.
The commander fired.
Ethan reacted first.
He pushed Karina aside and fired at the ceiling supports. The roof collapsed between them, creating a wall of falling metal and dust. The commander stumbled back.
Ethan grabbed Karina's arm. We need to move.
They ran limping, tired, but alive as alien ships roared above, searching again.
Behind them, the commander's voice echoed through the ruins. You cannot hide. We will return for the traitor and her human.
Ethan and Karina collapsed behind a ridge, breathing hard as the enemy searchlights passed overhead.
Karina looked at Ethan, eyes soft. What now? He asked.
She stared at the glowing sky, ships swarming like predators.
Now, she whispered.
The real war begins.